What is up, brother? Yo, bro. Extreme Reset Day 28. So today I've just finished my 69 days challenge, where essentially I work out for every single day for at least 45 minutes every single day. I've completed that every single day, and I've recorded that all of this progress on my Instagram account. So I'm keeping all of this updated on my Instagram profile. Been going great. I had some talk with few people today. My eyes are red today because I'm like, oh my god, bro. I'm kind of very, very tired because today the whole time we were like chopping axe, chopping woods with an axe, and did an upper body workout after that, and played badminton after that. A lot of shits. And then I had to like study even more hours today because I have to complete my works, bro. So, some things that I'm grateful for today. I am grateful for the badminton match today because I got into a flow state with badminton, and it almost like gave me this sort of like childhood memories of how it felt like when we play badminton. So good stuff. And also the brotherhood and all that shit, competitions with other men. Fucking great. I am also grateful for my younger self completing the 69 days challenge on Instagram. Okay, this 69 days challenge is essentially from another influencer, like a self improvement influencer. He's like, I wouldn't say influencer, but a self improvement person. So grateful for that. What can I do to become better today? I can be better today by differentiating my day into four sections. So it's gonna be like morning session, noon session, evening session, and the night session. Good shit, good shit. So that is what I'm gonna do because when you do this, like dividing your days into four sections, even if you fuck up the morning, you still have like the next three blocks of your day left. So it's all fun. You can get back to your normal day. I think this is very good because most often what we do and most of the time what I've been doing is, I wake up, I jerk off. I've already fucked up the day. I've already fucked up the day. I'm thinking like, man, fuck. I've already spoiled my whole day. Now I'm gonna, get lazy for the whole day. I just slept in the morning. Let me just spend the whole day without doing anything productive. And that is like a very defeating mindset, self-defeating mindset, bro. But as soon as you shift your almost like mindset into, yeah, my day is divided into four parts. I fucked up the morning, doesn't matter. I'm gonna smash the rest of the day. Even though no matter how much weak I feel after, masturbating for three times in the morning. Boom. Because I've heard this advice once, but I never really took it seriously because I thought it was like some bullshit. There's some Indian guy talking about, oh yeah, you fucked up today, but you still have the rest of the day, so I'm gonna do it, all this stuff, high motivation stuff. I never took it seriously, but up until like few days back when I saw this post from the person that I really look up to on Instagram, it's like, yeah, dividing days into four section actually helps you, especially if you're in this sort of like extreme reset series of, what do you say, getting this momentum phase, because you need that. So this is like a counter to the self-defeating mindset, and I think this really helps, and this is something that I can do or have so that I can be better. So what do we have? We have James, we have Sablop Sin, yay. 1000 push-ups, no joke, no joke. I've already talked about the physical ways to reset your mind after a fuck up. It's gotta be mostly intense ones. Yeah, it cannot be like meditation. If you're just fucked up, the best way to get back on track is like a very intense workout or a cold shower. I like to do cold shower and very intense workout the best. Like even if it's just for 10 minutes, just non-stop moving your body for like 10 minutes with weights, shoulder raises, front raises, straight to push up, and then straight to squats, and then straight to jumping, with holding the dumbbells, getting explosive and all of that shit. Like very intense workouts, anything very intense, anything very intensely discomforting. That shit really helps you like reset your baseline. Because for meditation, for living your normal day and then getting the sun, it's not that intense if you think about it. Yeah, maybe you need to get the sunlight, maybe it's hot, or maybe you gotta meditate and hold this posture for 10 minutes or some shit. It's long, but that doesn't help you as much as cold shower. Because talking about meditation and all, because I've taught meditation and stuff that was very cool for resetting the mind, but it's actually those hard fucking shits. So cold shower, hard workouts, or anything that you can do to really get this intense feeling of discomfort in this short duration, and that really kicks into you, kicks in your mind and all that. Bro is mewing. Mewing, bro. Mew, mew, mew. Good shit, good shit. Cold shower at 3 a.m. Yeah, it's fucking like pain. These days, especially, what I found is that I don't know if it's just some few days, but bro, the water is fucking cold because it's winter, right? But it's like I don't feel that pain as much anymore. It's like I don't shiver as much anymore. It's like literally nerve numbing level kind of cold water, but it's like I don't feel the pain enough that makes me shiver. Of course, it still gives me the benefit. It helps in nerve numbing, and which is also a way the cold water works, anti-inflammatory and all that shit. Perfect. Did anyone here did a multi-scale planning? Multi-scale. Multi-scale planning, yeah. Can you give me advice? I found 3-4 clients for video editing. I started on a few days. What do I do while waiting? Getting started in a few days. So yeah, we have Strahina, we have James, we have Sleplosin. Cool, cool. You know what I would do if I already got like clients for some work that I do, and I gotta wait for some few days. What I would do is get obsessed over it. One thing, like a very practical step that you can do is to just take some few times of your day, just get into this habit of visualization. Use your imagination. Visualize the best outcome. I know this sounds kind of vague again, but this really sets your mindset up. Because if you imagine the best outcome before it already happened, it's like you already prepared yourself for that. Even at the worst case scenario, you know what the fuck you should do because you have already thought about it in your mind. And it could be very complex because what does your client feel, or what is the service all about, and all of that. You have to keep a lot of things in mind. But the general habit is like visualizing about the best outcome, especially. And even about the worst outcomes, you can do that and then find a counter to that because you would be ready. But the general key here is to get obsessed over whatever is coming ahead, especially if it's like essential. What's my New Year's resolution? New Year's resolution, yeah. I haven't thought about New Year's resolution, but it's like I've thought about my 2024 goals in a very vague way. Is to essentially network with 100. I just have it like immeasurably. I'm gonna dive deep into setting goals for 2024 day after tomorrow on my extreme research series. So that is what we're gonna do, but I have a vague plan in mind, like making some money and also, the normal networking. And then I guess I forgot some of them, but these were like the main two. And still, again, it's still shallow. I didn't like very got the clarity of it just yet, but we need to really make decision about it. And still not have this decision analysis paralysis. You know what I'm saying? Video editing is fun. Yeah, bro. James got it right. Hmm. Good shit you're doing, Strahinja. Okay. So let's talk about setting your phone up, yeah? You can keep the questions coming, I'll be answering them. Setting your phone up, I think this is the most important thing because I should have mentioned this one earlier in my live stream series, but I've normalized this setting my phone up into like self improvement for the best case scenario of self improvement to the point where I even forgot about it, to the point where it's normal. I don't even have to talk about it. But it's like when I see some of my, friends or even my parents' phone filled up with notifications, I'm like reminded again, yeah, that was how my phone used to look like 2 years ago, a year ago. And I want to share this gift to you because it was until like few days ago that I realized, man, this is actually a gift. It's just that I've normalized it to the point where I don't notice it. But setting your phone up for like focus, for less distraction, for success to your goal, that changes the whole game. Because if right here, right now, my phone was filled up with notification and all that, like no matter how long I've been on self improvement, I'm gonna, backtrack on my progress. I guarantee. Okay, maybe not as much backtracking because I've already built myself up with good momentum, but I would have never gotten here if not for this. So what we're gonna do? The basic things, some key points I've written down on my journal. I've just got it here. I've always carried my journal near me so that I can refer to it as I talk to it. Do not disturb mode. Let's talk about this one first, because do not disturb mode is fine up until there is an emergency. But again, emergencies are relative. What is emergency to you? So majority of my life, bro, after I noticed this thing of like, yeah, setting up your phone for self improvement, my notifications were blocked on do not disturb mode, which means I don't see any notifications popping up on my screen. You guys are already technicians, expert with technology, so I don't need to dive deep into the notification popping up and shits. Do not disturb mode on. But what I found is that sometimes life gets in the way. It's emergency times, especially in that carnival that I had at the beginning of this month. I had to like turn off my do not disturb mode, which means that I need to like receive calls because it's emergency with my friends, because we're setting up this business at school, for a one night business and all that, selling foods and stuff. So in order to manage that and all of that shit, I need to take the calls, right? I need to get the notifications. So those were the only moments where my notifications was enabled, and then do not disturb mode was turned off because I need that emergency shits, because this is what matters to me right now. And that it was like my purpose for a few period of days at the beginning of this month. But for majority of the time, bro, it's like you don't need notifications. You don't need do not disturb. Okay, maybe your parents are calling you, fine, but it's like again, man, how do I say this? Because it's all about how you set up yourself in like real life instead of phone. Because if you show to your parents that you are responsible, that you don't need to be called every 3 hours of your day through your phone to check on yourself, to check on myself and by my parents and all of that. If you convince your parents that, even if I don't pick up, I still don't feel bad about you guys and stuff, then it's gonna be fine. Because if I acted in a weird way in my real life and then I didn't pick up my calls because I was on do not disturb mode, and then I followed up with my parents, after not receiving their calls with some bad emotions, I'm showing anger to them and I'm showing all these weird behaviors, unusual ones, degenerate shits, then they're gonna be very concerned. But if I, kind of like frame myself in a way that I'm responsible, that they don't need to worry about me, that if I don't pick up their call, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm like having like good times with them in real, then majority of the time it's fine. And these changes that you are making, especially with your phone, is gonna be changing a lot in your real life because your people in your life need like online presence to contact you. They WhatsApp you, they call you and all that. That that like just by the online interactions, that is a huge influence with your relationship. So it's like you don't want to change all of this drastically. You want to change this like slowly and slowly. Because people don't often notice subtle changes unless you are kind of like been through shits and all of that shit. Unless that happens, it's like people don't know if you're changing little by little. It's just normalized. That's how we all are. So you almost like do not disturb mode for maybe some couple of times a week more than you usually do, or like progressively overload it. And that's all for do not disturb mode. And notifications specifically, I want to talk about like the specific notifications. If you if you're not normalized with turning off your notifications, just turn on your internet or some shit and wake up the next day without clearing your notifications. Look at all the notifications. Now for Android, what I do is like I long press those unnecessary ones. It's from like Instagram or someone just followed me, liked my post. Okay, I hold that. I off the notification. Okay, I'm using like an Android phone, so that is like something I can do. I can just check my notification, turn it off from that particular app. So it's like very quick. But with the applications that you don't really want to get notified from, you want to turn that off from settings or some shit. Just do it. And the reason you're doing this, it's like very basic. You don't want to stay distracted when you're working on your business and you need to, check your notifications for some important shits, for some important emails that someone is gonna send you, or some OTP that you need emergency, so that you don't get distracted in those times by you know, some random people, liking your post or some shit. No. Okay, not random people. Maybe your friends like your post. Okay, maybe you need to get notified by that. But if you're like, you know, having a huge online presence, most of the actions are unnecessary. It's like you're following a lot of people online, you're having a lot of online presence online, and people are going on live stream. But you're here kind of like doing deep work session right now. You don't want to get notified with that. Especially like turn off your notification sounds. I don't like notification sounds, bro. It almost gives me like, what the fuck do you say? Notification sounds are annoying as hell. Sometimes again, if it's emergency, you need to get your ringtone. You need to, know when your notification is coming. But majority of the time, you want it off. Imagine, like, bro, if I'm with like a group of people and if their notification sound are coming like and some shit, water drops, beatboxing. If their phone is making those voice, I kind of like kind of like lose respect for them. I don't say it out loud like, yeah, I just lost respect for you by this much. I don't say that, but it's almost like internally I lose without me knowing it. But it's like through awareness I'm able to, yeah, be aware that I'm losing respect for them over time, because that shit is like, man, do you not care about your attention span that much? Like, I just get this question in my mind like, bro, Can't you just respect yourself, bro? Why are you letting these notification sounds bother you? Like, why is it on? Like, at the end of the day, if it bothers you or not, that is totally up to your perception. But majority of the time, even if you are like willpowered, even if you're David Goggins, if you hear the notification sound when you're doing your work, when you're doing your studies, when you're doing your workout, you will lose some level of attention span, at least so much more than if you would just go about your workout or studies or work without any notifications sound on. So that's a fact you cannot deny. Now let's talk about lock screen, because every single time you're gonna check the time, every single time you're gonna turn on your phone, every single time you wake up early in the morning when your subconscious mind is at the most vulnerable, most receptive form, you're gonna look at your phone lock screen. So what is your lock screen right now? Is it some degenerate shits? Most people life I don't know if it's only 14 years old, 13-year-old these days, but most people like to put like anime pictures on your lock screen, and I think it's fucking weird. I've seen some of my people, my people in a sense, like my friends, some of my friends back then when they were young, they are putting this lock screen anime and all that. I've never done that shit, of course, but it's like if you're again, if you're on NoFap and then you are having this anime girl with really like arousing image on your lock screen, then you're gonna suck at your NoFap, because that is gonna fucking trigger you. And again, it's not only about like NoFap and all that. It's not only about whether it makes you horny, but it's about if it's overstimulating, if it's triggering, because you want to try this out for yourself. Because what works for people is like my friends, they have their wallpapers, they have their wall lock screen. Some people like to put some nature pictures, some people like to put some random anime, some people like to put David Goggins on it. I just have it blank. I just have it blank. Couldn't bother to change it because it doesn't matter, right? I'm not here for the phone's lock screen, bro. I'm just here for the using the apps, using YouTube, using the camera, using the Discord, using Instagram. I'm not here for the lock screen and all that. And yeah, I kind of like failed to link my Discord. I mean to say Instagram profile on my Discord profile, if it makes sense. Kind of like integrating it. I've kind of like failed. I have to try it again. Maybe my network was slow or some shit. I don't think so, but yeah, reset the password and all that. So that is what you want with your lock screen. Something not triggering. So you want to find that out for yourself. Mine is just simply black, dark, blank. Okay. Also your home screen. You could get some motivational quotes, but most of us kind of like feel shy. Oh, what if in public people see this quote on my lock screen and then they kind of cringe? Oh no. But again, that is like your in your mind, your perception of things, what you believe, which may not necessarily been real, because like if that works for you, if motivational quotes on your lock screen works for you, then go ahead without any fears, because right now we have overcome almost all our unnecessary fear through the last weeks of like unlocking your chakra. And guess what, I like had a real good business talks with my cousin brother. He was pretty experienced. He is an adult now. He's kind of like, we're talking about business, the local businessman, how the one person from our local area is doing good in business, how he started out. We're kind of like studying case study and all that. Just I just learned a lot of things about careers, about how you should prioritize experience more than getting a degree and all of that shit, that you shouldn't waste your life and all that. Really, really, really opened my mind to a lot of things that I was closed off to, thanks to the unlocking of my root chakra, if I may say. Unlocking of my root chakra, that sounds kind of like fucking very video gamey, but it's not a video game, but it's just the river is flowing better. So probably that is the same for you if you've been practicing what I've been teaching. Home screen could be the same shit, whatever works. The same rule as lock screen, whatever works. Might be some reminder, might be some routine. By the way, bro, I had like a exam routine on my lock screen when I was kind of like younger and getting better in my studies when I was in this nerd era, doing good in my studies and all. I wouldn't say nerd era because I was not so nerdy. I had a girlfriend. I was working out, back then. I had this like exam roster on my lock screen, and that shit worked for me because I was like reminded of it every time. I was obsessed with it. So if you can get something, a picture that is something related to your purpose, so that every time you turn on your phone you think about it, you can't help but obsess about it. And yeah, that is something you can do, bro, Strahin. If like if there is any way you can obsess over the purpose, over your work of like video editing, you can set a wallpaper that something that motivates you, something that gets you obsessed over your work. I think that is fucking awesome. Or you could just leave it blank, just no stimulations at all, just you choose what you need to look, see what works for you guys. I'm getting all this like fog because it's winter, right? See, it's like kind of like smoky ear. So we're setting your apps up. Yeah, we're do not disturb, notification, lock screen, home screen. Now we're talking about apps. If you look at your phone or any device right now, majority of the apps, applications, you do not need them. I just checked on my phone, like I had this Instagram Reels downloader. I didn't need it. Like I don't need to download any Reels. Maybe I installed that some couple of years ago when I was, posting memes on my Instagram account back then. So, I'm like downloading Reels and then reposting them on my stories back when there was no knowledge about it. So I uninstalled that, uninstall some apps that you don't need. And if you take a good look in your device, and if you have never done this before, I bet you will find at least 3 apps that are that are what, like unnecessary. Apps that are unnecessary, you can find plenty of them. So that is one you can do with apps, because you want as less as possible with whatever you are having. If you are having a phone, you want as less apps as possible, as less you know stimulations, as less distractions as possible, because at the end of the day you cannot use all the apps if they are unnecessary. You haven't used them for long, you don't need that. You don't need fucking Google Pay if you don't have a bank account. You don't need a you know even like some things like video editing apps. If you don't do video editing, you don't need like fucking another additional camera if you are not gonna use it and stuff. So you eliminate all those some things that you don't want, because those are the same thing that are gonna distract you, that is gonna distract you. Let's talk about blue light filters now, because every devices have like a blue light filter. For my laptop it is more like night mode. Essentially what it does is it cuts out the blue light. Now the non-negotiable is that when it's getting the night time, when the sun is setting, you want to get it turned on, because when you are using your phone full of blue light near to your bedtime, then it's gonna fucking affect your brain, because it's gonna give you the light, the blue light, that is the same light that wakes you up from bed. So what happens when you get it at night? You find it difficult to fall asleep. But when you're waking up or when you are going through about your day, maybe you can have your blue light on, maybe you can have your blue light filter off, which means it's all blue light, there's no filter. But what I'd like to do is, still get the blue light filter. I don't need to like bother much turning it on and off. It's just fine for me. But you want to keep in mind that you need that blue light in the morning just to keep you awake. But again, it's like whether or not you use phone in the morning, so you also have to keep that in mind. Blue light filter. But the general thumb rule is that you do not need blue light at night. That is gonna in fact harm you. So rise to wake is something like rise to wake. Whenever you lift up your phone, it kind of like wakes up to the lock screen and all that. Majority of the time you don't need that. this automatic technology which makes you comfortable. You don't need that. Let me tell you one thing about our society, our world. It is changing fast. All of this development is coming. It is basic understanding, but I think it is very crucial for you to understand this. Human beings have been inventing stuff that solve one problem after another. But it's like you cannot solve all the problem. Maybe we can manage them, but we cannot solve all of the problem. If you're if you're living in a small house and you decide to get into a big house because it is a problem because you feel tight and all of that squeezy when you are sleeping in a small house, so you get a big house. Guess what? It doesn't still solve your problem, but maybe it may solve your problem of like, yeah, you were too tight in the house, there was no place to keep things. Yeah, it may solve that when you get a bigger house, but it's like you need to manage the big house even more. Like, big house needs to get cleaned and all of that shit. It's problem after problem. We've been evolving as human beings, solving problems, creating all this technology. Finally, in this past few decades, and that is fucking cool. Up until you realize that we are starting to solve problems that we don't actually had problem at the first place. Maybe it's for our own comfort, but what happens when you get too comfortable? You take a backtrack in life. In simple words. So some basic technological developments, like they're like automatic rise to wake, that is something you don't need. Just press the manual button, bro. Like, okay, it's kind of cool. Maybe you just like to use your phone up, and then your phone automatically turns on, like you're the daddy of your phone and all that shit. Fine, okay, but when it is times that you don't need to really turn on your phone, you're just checking your phone this way, maybe you're running or some shit, and your phone just lights up, it's gonna fucking annoy you. Maybe, like, at least for me, I would only want my phone to turn on when I want it to turn on, when I manually turn it on, not when I just move my phone randomly in such a direction that the sensors gets all light up and then the phone automatically turns on because I've turned on my rise to wake option. So you can search it on your settings. I think it's mostly in your like home screen or lock screen settings, like rise to wake and all of that shit. That type of setting that wakes up your device whenever you're like moving it in a certain way, especially when you're moving it up or some shit. Yeah, so this is most of it, and you want to remember that you don't just suddenly change all of that. Maybe you can do that, but like there is a trade-off to this. Just like with your sleep, changing your sleep, it's like the trade-off is that you change everything all of a sudden, and you're gonna find a hard time coping with the people in your life because people are gonna suddenly, you know, talk shit about you because you don't pick up calls, tell you that you are too egotistical, arrogant, or some shit. Yeah, maybe you can take that route. I've taken that route. For it doesn't last long, by the way. I've had my mom telling me that I'm arrogant because I don't pick up calls. But I kind of like fixed that with through my good relationship because back then my mental health was fucked up even though I had all these settings on. So after improving my mental health, relationships with my family got kind of better. So it's fine now, and with my friends too. And when you're doing all this, there are gonna be people who are gonna be hating on you because you are too extreme and all that. But again, it's like if somebody really respects you, if someone actually cares about you, they're gonna be okay with the decision that you make because like even if your friends feel bad about friends, I mean to say, if your friends feel bad about you before you doing this setting up your phone shits, that you don't pick up calls or reply to them anymore, it's like, are they that insecure that just because you didn't reply to them that they think the friendship is over? Like there needs to be a certain level of trust, and by the way, this differs on individual to individual, especially when we're talking about relationship. Because now maybe I could kind of like give you advice, but it's like, how can I kind of like give advice to your friend who may be a totally different person with totally different interests? it's kind of like really depends on the relationship whenever we're talking about like a group of people, especially when their interests are kind of like crisscrossing, not in alignment. So you want to make small changes. That is the other option, and that is a, I guess, the better way to go, because you also need to make this into a normalized habit, not just through motivation, but following up through discipline. That is the way. So gonna do live tomorrow again, and maybe even day after. Yeah, day after tomorrow, because we're gonna set some fucking goal. Yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna be covering more like Q&A. So get your Q&As ready, and also we're gonna be talking about some essential mindset shits that will keep you in this long-term progress, because this is not the end. This extreme reset series that we're doing, this is not the end, bro. So let's get to it. Somebody just said, show your apps. Like, bro, I had like a lot of pictures on my YouTube, bro, like showing my apps. Like, I could show you right now, but it's like very, I wouldn't say inappropriate, but it's kind of like, fuck it, bro. You can just watch it anytime. You can just Google my name and just you will find my apps everywhere. Yeah, it gotta be good for attention span. Just for real, for real. Saludame, bro. Walking is the way, bro. You gotta be kidding, bro. You don't use steroids, bro. You just started working out some couple of months ago, which is fucking great. We're seeing all these young men in our Discord starting to work out and all that. They send me message. Fucking great, fucking great. Yeah, 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 yeah. Improve your life one step at a time, and always.